probably am going to say and a whole lot.
Yeah, it's fine. I do like it.
Without knowing it. I hope I don't say like a really lot, but you never know.
I'll try and call you up. I murder it like I murder this. I say for the first little while to like get going.
Yeah.
I don't have an agenda, so I don't know what the hell we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, hope this goes okay.
I'll tell you my entire life story.
Cool. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'll probably just like after we haven't been talking for the past
Yeah.
I'll be like, welcome to the show. I mean, it's probably well worth it. And then quick chat. Let me also say, hey, I'll just ask what you've been up to, and then it'll start to roll from there. Once we hit that point, I'll be pretty much as lost as I'll ever be, so it'll be perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, well, Madison, thanks for coming on my show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. I don't know. Your full name is it Madison Noel, and then
I'm gonna let you keep going.
Perry, right?
It's Perry.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to spit it out. So
Madison Noel Perry.
Right,
yeah.
and that's where are you from originally?
I grew up in Tsawwassen.
Oh, okay,
so
right. So you're from BC.
Yeah,
okay,
just
cool.
outside of Vancouver.
Right.
But yeah, I was supposed to actually be born on Christmas Day. That was my due date.
Right.
And so my mom went with Noel for my last name, and
Right.
then I was 2 weeks late. 10 pounds 7 ounces. Thank God I lost that weight.
Wow, 10 pounds 7 ounces.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Baby weight.
I was a healthy baby. And then ended up. My middle name is Noelle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's apparently like the English.
I didn't know your last. I mean, I knew your last name when I mentioned it, but then I just always saw your name as Madison Noel whenever I see things, or then Maddie.
Oh, cool.
And then,
Okay.
and then I don't know. I just caused like brain fart for a second. But anyway.
That's okay.
So when did you move here to Whistler? You've been living in Whistler for a long time?
Yeah, I grew up coming here my whole life. Like always, my sisters we have a different dad, same mom, different dad. So their dad is Todd Friesen, who has been like in the industry here for forever. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, T-Dot.
I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, he ran rentals and retail for Whistler Blackcomb for I think like 28 or 30 years or something. He just retired a couple years ago.
Doesn't have I think he opened up a shop or something in the village.
Yeah,
a little, like,
premium.
Yeah, right
Premium
there.
Whistler.
So anybody who doesn't know what the hell's going on here, sorry, we're in Whistler. It's just I don't know. Sometimes people watch. I get viewers from like really random places.
Cool. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So Madison lives in Whistler. So do I. But has been here for a long time.
Mm-hmm. We're in the greatest part of Canada.
Yeah, we're on the right end of it anyway, right? I think. I mean, there's lots of great places in Canada. So I just drove across the country and it was awesome.
I'm biased.
Yeah, true. I guess you grew up here.
Oh,
yeah.
you did? You drove across?
Yeah, I'm a transplant. Well, I did just to visit my mom before everything went
nice.
haywire again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of knew you were from BC. I just figured I'd ask that everybody else
Where are
would
you
know.
from?
Just outside of Toronto, Ontario, like in the sticks, farmland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Okay, so I you've been in town for a while, but you told me when we first started, we were talking about it earlier, you are a real estate agent in town.
Yes.
Right? So we'll talk about work first because it'll kind of warm us up.
Okay.
But it's been
been an
on and off thing, right? For you, like a little bit you were on it, then you went away and came back and did it again.
Yeah. Yeah. So I moved here full time to Whistler in 2007.
Right.
And then I got into real estate in 2012. I grew up with my dad being a real estate agent.
Okay. I was going to ask how you got into it.
Totally. My whole life, like I was doing open houses with my dad, and like I have a ridiculous open house story with my father when I was young.
If you want to tell it, you're welcome to tell it.
Yeah.
Even if it's shady.
Well, long story short is that I was like so bored. I would be so bored. I used to ride horses when I was growing up. So normally he'd just drop me off and like I'd just ride horses and do whatever, and then he'd come pick me up. But this one time I like was hanging out at this open house with him. And I like walked up the dining room, didn't have a dining room table because it was just a brand new built house. But there was this beautiful big chandelier like up above. Yeah. And I was just like, I think I was like maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 or something, or no, I must have been like maybe 8. I don't know how old I was. And I stood up to the thing, and it was like just above my head. And I was like, I'm like, I clear it. I'm like, I'm going to do a cartwheel, not factoring in my arms.
Oh no.
So I did a cartwheel under this thing and just like obliterated the chandelier. Needless to say, my dad was very upset with me. But anyway, so that started off my real estate career.
Right. Sweet.
And
so stage a house. Yep.
2012, I got back. I moved from Whistler. I had one of those moments where you're like, you just think that, you know, you need to grow up. You're like, this is La La Land and I live in a fairy tale and I need to leave this place and have a career. And so I left and went down to Tsawwassen again, where I grew up. And then I got into real estate then.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. And I did that down there for 2 years. I mean, it was still like really hardcore recession at that point. So I had like four listings that I like pretty right off the bat, and I could not sell them. Like it was, nobody was buying. You couldn't even give homes away to people. Like it was just a different time back then. So
I guess it's because they had homes to sell, but no one had the money to buy one.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
And I think I can't remember even off the top of my head, but I think mortgage rates were just like way different at that point and stuff too. So it was just crazy.
Yeah. Like I remember in 2010 when I got my first mortgage, my mortgage rate was like 4.2.
Yeah.
But then like a little bit later, I got it to like 2.8 or something like that. And now I think it's like, I think I got another one just recently. It was like, I don't know, what are they now? They're not like.
They're like, I have some clients getting ones at like 1.65.
Oh my God.
Like it's like ridiculous.
I was doing, you know what, I was doing the math the other day with Smiley. I was talking to him. He's a real estate agent too. And we were looking at, and then after the podcast, I went and checked, I went and Googled real estate, interest rates in like the 80s. And it was like 20%. Money was different back then for sure, but
yeah.
It's crazy how much, and then someone gets a big home and then they have the mortgage rate goes up 2% and makes their mortgage payments massive.
I know.
I'd bet, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But then, and then you moved up here then you moved back up here in 2006, 17, 16? 17.
Yeah, 2015 I came back.
Cool.
So I was kind of gone for like kind of 3 years. Right. And then, I moved back up here, started working for a luxury rental company. Right. I was a concierge and stuff like that, which was a really cool experience with premium experiences.
Well, do they operate houses in
like
Stonebridge and
Cadenwood, Stonebridge,
cool.
everywhere around
Sweet.
town.
Yeah.
So that was awesome, and then it kind of put me back into like the housing scenario, because I got out of real estate in like 2014 and then just worked as like back in the restaurant industry for a year.
Weren't you like I think someone's texting me. My phone's going fuzzy right now. I can hear it in the headphones.
Oh, hilarious.
Sorry. Weren't you like a guide, like a ATV guide?
How did you know that?
Because I used to work for Whistler Blackcomb, and you guys
did his research.
I should remember.
Okay.
You used to do, I don't know how I remember, but you used to do that because I used to work on the mountain, and you would do the Crystal Hut stuff, right? Or no?
No, well, we did, like I worked for Outdoor Adventures, and so I moved here, like no joke, the day after I graduated high school. Oh, so cool. Like I left my like prom early because I had to like
really?
I had to leave Tsawwassen the next morning at 5 a.m. to like come up here, and I already had found my house and everything, and I started work at Outdoor Adventures like that next day because it was like summertime for them. So I did ATV tour guiding for 3 years, and we started on Whistler Mountain. So we were kind of just up at Olympic or mid station, right? And then from there we go all the way up and do the peak, and then like come down. It was such a fun job.
Were you in an ad? Maybe that's what I saw. Were you in an ad?
Yeah, I was.
Maybe that's why I knew that.
I think during the times there's been lots of ads.
Like, you must see the funny stuff in that job, like people like who can't function on a four wheeler, and they're governed, right?
They are.
Keep talking for a second. I'm gonna check my.
Okay. Yeah. No, it is like there's some people that are like have absolutely no idea what they're doing, and they're so scared of it. Like we used to always get like in March, like all the Mexicans that would come out, and like some of them were just haywire and like so crazy, and they would just fishtail all over the place and like sending it off of like side banks and stuff. And then you have the other ones that like literally like touch the throttle and just like it was really entertaining.
Yeah, like that must be. It must be like, I mean, you guys get to rip around, which is kind of cool, but it's still probably must be boring after a while. I mean, teaching people, I guess.
The worst was snowmobile tour guiding. Right. It was so cold. Yeah. It was like 12-hour days. Like the way it's structured is like if you were on the morning tour, then you got to have the precedence for the rest of the day. Like if more tours booked, like you could just keep working longer and stuff. So I would always start morning tour, and I just work through evening, and it was great because you'd get. I mean, I was like 18 when I first moved here, and you get like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner like served to you if you did the tours. So I was like making money, making tips, not paying for food. It was like pretty hilarious.
Those kind of links in this town, like being able to do something like that. Like if you work in a restaurant, I mean, restaurant work's one thing, but just being able to do that, and then like, you can cut your expenses down by whatever, like 50% a month.
And it was seriously good food too.
You're doing tours every day.
Like Colin's still around now. I can't remember his last name, but he like cooked for us all the time on the mountain. Like the most amazing barbecue dinners, like
Yeah.
chicken breast and salmon and like baked potato, corn, everything, and it was so delicious.
Yeah, it's like getting heli belly, right? Like when you go to a heli out there, you just eat good food all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that why you're kind of like into you're like into dirt biking now, or you were before? Did you grow up into dirt biking? And
Yeah, so I actually got into ATVing because I grew up ATVing. So
Cool.
for me, it was like, it was so funny because I had gone in grade 12 out to Princeton to visit a friend, and we just like ripped on ATVs, and it had actually been like 2 or 3 years since I had owned my own like ATV with my dad and stuff. And in my head, I was like, damn, this is so fun. Like, what can I do as a job that has to do with ATVing? And I know this sounds so funny, but I like looked it up on the internet at that time. I think I had like AOL or something like that. Oh, man. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And it came up as like Whistler ATV guides or whatever. And I was like, that's what I'll do. And I had totally enrolled I was meant to go to college and do the whole thing. I was going to do business, marketing, all that stuff. And then I just canceled it all. And I just thought, I'm taking a year off.
That's good.
Like everybody does in Whistler.
It kind of works out, right? Like if you have a goal, you're just like, I'm not going to generalize, but like if you're somewhat driven, or it's just not, it kind of works out. You don't really have to always go to school. I went to school, and I'm glad I did, but I didn't really. Now I'm just hosting podcasts in my kitchen, so I don't know if it's different for anybody.
Hey, it's everybody. Yeah. It's good for everybody in different ways. I don't know. I had the fear of God in me about school because for me, I had other like family members and other friends that were older than me and stuff that had gone to school and were just in like major student debt and stuff. And then they didn't, and they changed paths like while they were in school, And for me, it didn't come out down to money. It was about the time. Like my time was so valuable to me that I'm like, and I just didn't have a 100% clear path on what I wanted to do. And so I knew business, marketing, management, that would all be something that would benefit me no matter what. But I didn't want to spend 4 or 5 years in a university and then just not use it or switch paths and just lose that. I felt like I was scared to lose that time.
It makes sense. I did this when I went. Yeah, I can relate because I went to college just for 2 years, got a marketing and advertising diploma.
Yeah,
I think it's a certificate. I'm not sure what they call it. It's budget, but yeah, I think. But then, like, it does make sense to a lot of people take a year off and they just kind of don't go back. But if you had the motivation to go and do it, but just decided not to, you knew it was a smart thing to do. But then you would have gone to real estate school pretty early on then too. Then. Right?
Well, 2012, yeah, but that's real estate school's a joke. Sorry. Everybody and their dog does it, and then you either follow through with it or you don't. But it's like there's math and there's law, and it's just super tricky to learn. Right. But unfortunately, we just lost an amazing human that used to teach, like, seriously, almost every single person I've ever known of being in real estate in the past like 10 years would go to school through this guy named Fred. Oh, and wow. Fred was like so well known, and he just passed away like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Right.
But anyway, so you would go to him and he would teach you. He was like incredible. He had a photographic memory.
Yeah.
And he would just like teach you exactly, like we would get textbooks like this big,
right,
like from that were sent to you in the mail, and then he would condense it down to like just a couple books you needed to know. And he was
really?
like, he's like, this is all you need to know to pass your test. You just have to memorize 1,000 questions, and if you get X amount of them right, you're good. Like 100 of them right, you're good to go. So it was incredible. Then I ended up, because the first time I was in real estate, I passed with like 75%, I think.
Oh, nice.
And
Good.
At that time you needed 60% to pass.
Oh yeah, it's so funny. What is it higher now?
Yeah, they upped it now to 70% to pass, I think.
Right. Well,
I can't remember. It's been a while since I've
my
done
college my passing grade in college was 60%. I never went, and I got like 68.
Oh, nice.
I never went. But yeah,
you
know what? I'm gonna check this out. We might have to pause it for a second.
Okay. Casual with Ryan Proctor. See, you of your podcast? Yeah. Why? I mean, I wore casual clothes today because I like the name so much.
I just hear the words on it so much now. Like I'll hear somebody go, and I'm like, ugh. But anyway, I'm not changing it.
Okay.
All right, cool. So people were texting me, so I was just getting kind of frustrated because I wanted to hear you talking. I want to hear like it's the fuzzy
beeping
noise. Yeah, that's what the headphones
from the vibrating.
Yeah, or just from the signal. Anyway, whatever it was. stop now. So,
Okay, great.
but yeah, you were saying that like people either they take the class and they don't.
Yeah.
So they all take
6
it.
weeks.
Right.
It's like you're done in 6 weeks, and then
Oh.
you book your exam and stuff, which will take another like probably about like a month.
Right.
So it's like 6 weeks of intense work, and that schoolwork is like for me when I was doing it, I studied for like minimum like maybe 9 hours a day.
Oh,
Like
it's a scene, right?
I treated it like it was 100% my full-time job to
Yeah.
like just memorize constantly. And then you're just, once you start to understand the math and stuff in the law, you just start doing practice exams.
Right.
You time yourself and then you just do practice exams for like weeks. And when you start constantly passing with like 75% or better or whatever, then you're like, okay, I can do this.
Wow. Okay. Cool. I mean, I heard that it was intense, and I've heard just various reviews of it all. But like, if it's hard, something's weird still happening.
Well, maybe we're doomed with this podcast.
No, we're good. No, it's fine for sure. I mean, it happen all the time. But yeah, so like, I guess I just know it's like real estate's bumping right now, so it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been good to be in it for sure.
Real estate has been on fuego for, I would say, the last 3 years for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to move off real estate soon because I'm sure people are like, oh my God. But but I have a question about, do you have like, before this whole shutdown stuff happened, did you have like a lot of international clients, and do you have those still now looking around for future prospects?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I mean, what's for me, what I think what's going to be super interesting is that our international clientele really increases in the winter.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
People come here, especially when I think Vail bought us, then people with the Epic Pass and stuff would like be coming here more often.
I
And
thought about that. Right.
yeah, and they had never been here before, but then they ride our mountains, they fall in love, they realize that there's, it's a beautiful place to be, and that they can make revenues on their property when they're not there, and and basically just what they care about for the most part is that it pays for itself, right? Like if it just pays for itself and they have a place here, then usually they're pretty stoked, and they come here 1 to 2 times a winter or something and have an epic.
Because most places like you can like put into a rental pool if you don't want to live in it, right?
Yeah, like there's lots of property management companies out there now that you can like just totally get like hire one of them to run it for you.
Right.
And then there's some of them that have like front desk services so that they'll actually, you could just have it at the front desk and they'll just run it for you as well.
Cool.
So yeah. But anyway, so international clients, yes, they're normally there like in the winter times for sure, especially like January every year usually has a big increase, like a big spike.
Right.
So I look forward to seeing what's going to happen this January.
Right.
But you know what, like throughout COVID though, there was like, I don't know if anybody was watching my Instagram, I have like the highlights of like, I did the progression of COVID, I tried to do it once a week, and then it went to like once every 3 weeks, and then once every month. And
it's
then
hard
just,
to be regular or something for sure. Yeah.
But it was insane the amount of money that was transacting, and I mean there was constantly like $8 million sale, $10 million sale, $7 million sale, $6 million, $8 million, and then it was like unbelievable. And I think it was all like, I think a lot from like there's like Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, and then like sure the United States for sure. So there was an influx of that happening, and I think like I didn't like look at all my stats and stuff before I came on this podcast, but I know that like in September we had like an absolutely outrageous month, and I think like over $80 million was transacted just in like single family homes alone or something.
In Whistler?
In Whistler,
Holy
just in
shit.
Whistler. So like if you're looking at the graph from like 2014, it's kind of like this, and it's like kind of constantly going up, and then September 2020 was like just up, just off the charts. Like
I wonder what the. It sounds crazy. I guess people have money. If people have money, have money.
Yeah, and well, they do, and I think it's about where you put your money. And I guess it was, and I mean, you probably sit here and talk to Maggie Thornhill or John Ryan, and they'll maybe have a different explanation for you. But I mean, what I've been talking about is that it's basically like. The stocks were so volatile and nobody really knew what the heck was going to be happening there. Of course, tons of fear in that market. So then it went from them being like, let's put money into brick and mortar.
And Canada's a pretty good market to invest in as far as housing stuff goes, because there's no volatility like the American market where like political volatility changes everything. Right. And I guess.
And here we don't have like in Vancouver now, they've implemented all these different taxes and stuff. So we have like the vacant home tax.
That's not up here?
No, it ends at Lions Bay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and then there's also the foreign buyers tax, which also isn't up here. So
Excuse me. Foreign Buyers Club. So that's like, and that's and there's a speculation tax too, right? If you buy in a live-in or something.
yeah, that's like the speculation tax is the same thing as the vacancy tax. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But anyways, it's incredibly confusing.
I mean, I'm sure it like that's probably why it takes long to do that test and get certified is so hard.
Yeah.
Because what you just talked about, everything you have to know, right?
Yeah. And it just literally changes on the daily though, too. Like GST, tax stuff, everything changes on the daily. So, I mean, for me, it's like, I know real estate. Like I know the transaction, I know the prices for places, the market values, things like that. I mean, everything that's like, you got to talk to a lawyer for the lawyer stuff. You got to talk to an accountant for the accountant. You got to talk to a mortgage broker for like, everybody's got their own roles. And
it's because when I purchased a couple of homes in my past and, places, and I always find like it's like, hey, you talk to one person, but that person's like, I go to this guy, It's like, I went through a broker both times, but it seems like everyone's got to get something. Like the circle of people is pretty large. Yeah. Of who have to sign stuff and stuff you have to know, but you don't have to know about it because the lawyer takes care of it. Yeah. But then you kind of have to know.
Yeah, exactly. I know trust me, everybody comes to me they want a one-stop shop and they want to know everything from me. And I'm like, I try my best, but you have to tread lightly though, because I don't want to give people like the wrong misinformation and stuff like that. So,
well, I mean, I'm sure because it says it ruins a deal or something like that. And then, oh God, the stress. I don't know.
It's never happened to me in my life though.
I'm worried about little squeaky sounds on my computer, and I can't imagine what it's like to have like a few $1 million in the line when you're like, oh, I just forgot to fill out that one part of the form, and now it's done.
Oh man, I have this ongoing joke that's like one realtor year is equivalent to like 3 or 4 years in somebody else's normal life. Like I think I'm aging at a rapid pace right now.
Probably. It seems like
the stress is so intense.
But then it seems like you're like, it's such a weird, not a weird thing, but like you're working when no one else is working. So when everybody has time off, they come to see you because you have to work on weekends and work nights. Or like we have to close the deal by Sunday because we got to be wherever by Monday morning. So it's like you're kind of at the mercy of it all, which seems it's almost like you're an emergency service in some respects because you're like you work on all of a sudden, boom, I got to close this deal, and then there's you deal with other realtors. Like, do you guys like talk? Are you like, whoa.
Just kidding.
Beep. I can beep it. Is there like ever like heated battles? Like, have you ever seen something where it's like I guess it's just you and another realtor. There's never the both buyer and seller in the same room.
No, I mean, back in my dad's age, that definitely would happen. Right. But no, everything is like, online and virtual and stuff. Right. So, but I mean, sure, have times been heated before? Definitely. I mean, we're like everybody's defending their own client. So things will normally get heated. And to be honest with you, I think I'll totally admit it. Like when I first started in this career in Whistler, I kind of came out of the gates hot because it was a really intense market. It was like when I started with the Dream Team, it was like the very beginning of 2017, and it was just multiple offers after multiple offers after multiple. It was like that is the most stress. Your clients are being like, "How come you can't tell me the price of what the other person?" And I'm like, because that's the way we do it here. Like everything's a blind bid. Like you just have to put in the most money that you're comfortable to put in, and it's the hands down probably the most stressful situation to be in a buying scenario. Yeah, and it's just like it's a guess. It's like rolling gambling, the dice in Vegas. You're just like, I don't know, like, okay, let's try it out. I mean, you can go based on some, research and facts, but at the end of the day, if you've got 5 people that are submitting an offer on a place, I mean, like even like Gondola Village right now, like Legoland. I mean, those are,
I live there. I can't believe it's going how expensive that place is.
They're constantly in multiple offers still right now, and
really?
like a top floor one that have like 300 square foot patios, that just the woman there purposefully, the woman that listed it was from Squamish, she purposefully listed it low because she wanted multiple offers. Right. And then I think 4 offers came in, and it's just like, wow. It's what price do you put it in?
There's a weird strategy to it because like I remember having to wait for an offer I put in just on the conditions and stuff, and just like they'll be like, oh, well, somebody else, the real estate agent, somebody offered this much. We know that happened. They have like insiders somehow. It's like, and you're deciding if you offer more, and then you're like, you hit the point where it's been appraised by this much, like, and you've had it inspected, but you're not sure what's going to happen behind those walls. You're like, So as a buyer, it's like, I mean, it's stressful. And then as a seller, you're like, I need to keep everybody happy. And
There's
Real
lots of
estate.
politics behind it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've won a lot of multiple offers just through my tactics of like I love getting my clients to write letters, like heartfelt letters.
Really?
About like, to
Giving
give
away
to
your
the
secrets
sellers.
here
and
on
stuff.
the air. Wow.
But-
no one writes letters anymore.
Yeah, and that just puts a little bit of a personal aspect behind it and stuff for sure. But I mean, it all comes down to like your timing and like lots of different things. And
Right.
so, yeah. But I mean, ultimately, I just think too, like it's if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, you know? And if it's
That
not,
makes
then.
sense. I had it kind of always, I guess, right? Because I remember, anyway, you know what?
Yep.
I think real estate's going to be a hot
Yeah, we
topic
can
for a
sit
long
here and
time.
talk about it for the entire
sure.
podcast,
And I don't know
that's
what
for
I'm
sure.
talking about with real estate, so, but yeah, no. So other than that, like you seem like you're busy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like you snowboard, you snowboard. You don't go snowboard and ski. You just snowboard. Right?
Yeah, no, I do both.
Oh, you do both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
okay.
grew up snowboarding. I think I started snowboarding when I was like 11.
Where did you go when you were a kid? It was to no.
No, my dad used to live. My parents separated when I was 2,
Oh,
so
okay.
my dad used to live in Kelowna and stuff, and we used to go to Big White. I think that
right.
Big White is where I first sort of rode with my dad, and then again, it was just from my sisters, from Todd being up here.
Right.
Like we just all my sisters brought me up here all the time. Like
That's
so,
cool.
so this was my other like home hill because
Right.
back in those days, like Whistler Blackcomb would give you family passes and stuff,
Yeah.
and so then it was like I'd come up and go skiing, and I'd get the newest rentals and the newest gear, and
Right.
I was very blessed.
They used to give away that stuff when I worked for Blackcomb. They had like you'd get the free rentals. You'd get like so many passes, lift
Yeah.
tickets for the day, and then like they had these big awards and the big dinners. It was pretty crazy back then. I remember.
A lot more fun.
Yeah, and that would like even when I got here in 03, I first got my job with Whistler Blackcomb. I mean, that was a while ago, but not what it was like in the 90s when there were
Right.
separate mountains and stuff. And I always hear these stories, and I think every generation hears these stories of what it was like, and they think, wow, it would have been so cool. But like, when you talk about your time here and like the free pass, that kind of stuff, and someone you talk to is like, oh, yeah, but back in the 90s, it was this. But then someone who just experiences now, 20 years from now, will talk about, yeah, we used to pass was $1,200. And you're like, what?
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
It's so weird how those generations just
Watch them
skip.
be double that price in
Yeah.
that long amount of time.
But it's tough because what it does is it gets people who somehow work here or relatives get to go skiing and get into skiing. And now you live here and spend money here and you make a life here, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those, I don't know very many people who actually are from, it's cliche, I don't know many people who are from Vancouver or from Whistler.
Yeah.
Like
I know I
maybe-
get that all the time when people are
Right.
like, oh yeah, where'd you grow up? And I'm like, just in outside Vancouver. Like, oh, so you're like really local.
Yeah. Well, there's people I know in Vancouver have never been up here. And
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, I'm like the majority of my friends from high school, like because I had the influence from my sisters and
Sure,
stuff.
yeah.
I mean, Whistler was a major part of my life growing up. But like all of my other friends from high school, other than like a couple like Taylor Godberg, like her and I went to school together. We went to
Yeah.
the same high school and stuff. And so, but other than that, like there's barely anybody I know that ever even comes up here. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really strange because, not strange, but I feel, and it's just because I'm a skier, but I've been to Vancouver. Like I've gone
Yeah.
I've seen like I've been to a racetrack to watch like a car races. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I've seen like all these things. So it just seems, I guess, if you live in a city, you're not really exposed. Even though the mountains are all around you. It's not your thing. It's not your thing.
Yeah, no, it's
Yes.
true. And I think, to be honest, it's kind of funny, but I think the highway can, even though like we think it's so beautiful and everything, it can be intimidating to certain people, especially during the winter months and stuff as well. Like,
It's
But-
been like rated like one of the dangerous highways in the world.
really?
Yeah, and not because of how bad it is, it's because of how people can't drive.
Oh God, yeah.
But it's up against like, I mean, Google right now, but it's up against like in roads in like Indonesia and all these other places.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just some
Wow.
bullshit story to get like clickbait maybe, but it was saying it was like
I
because
mean, it could be because people are just constantly looking around, like in awe about like how
Yeah.
beautiful it, looking at the mountains and shit, and then they just drive straight into
oh
somebody.
yeah,
Like,
I mean we're all guilty of like whoop getting back on there. It's like the sun looks good behind the peaks or something like that.
yeah,
But I guess that's because that thing is like we're all organized and we drive, and one little mess up makes the whole highway go into chaos. Whereas other
Yes.
places, it's like they just drive and it's like beep beep and they drive around. They can like in like other countries.
that's right. That's right.
But-
We have to shut the whole thing down, and
Yeah.
it's got to be this big thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I was on the highway the other day when that logging truck fell over.
Oh my god, yeah, right.
Oh
Fuck.
man,
You see
I
it happen?
heard. I was right at, like, I literally followed the ambulance and the fire trucks like to the scene.
Oh my god.
But I had, it was like the Forerunner that the logs had taken out was like just crumpled. Like, and apparently they lived. Apparently they were fine.
That's
they were
great.
okay.
It's surprising, but it's great. Yeah.
Oh, I drove past it and saw that, and I just was like, "There's no way." Like, my heart sunk because I was like, "There's physically no way that those people survive that. It's not
Right.
humanly possible." And then afterwards, I was like, I put it on my Instagram, and everybody was texting me, being like, "No, like they're okay. They got out. They got heli lifted out." And,
Okay, right.
but yeah, anyways.
No, that's
times.
crazy because like I watch fail videos and I'm like, how does somebody walk away from that shit, right?
Yeah.
Like people but whenever I drive past a logging truck, even after that one that flipped a few years ago, and the motorcyclist got hurt or passed away, unfortunately. But
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, he flipped right by Nordic under the bridge there.
Oh, a logging truck?
Yeah.
In Nordic?
Yeah, right.
Where was I?
That big long. I'm probably selling homes in Vancouver. It's probably I'm sweating again about a test, but it was the big bend there.
Oh, okay.
And it flipped. But every time I drive by, I don't know what the rules are or what it look, but optics are everything, and it looks like those
Right.
things are way overloaded all the time. It
Oh,
looks like
man.
those logging trucks are all over the map.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna get at is that I feel like when you were a kid and people who are younger, or whatever, the highway was a shit show at one point to get up. It was like really harsh.
Oh.
So anybody who you probably just it wasn't worth risking your life to come up, and then you just kind of got in the mood of it. And your parents didn't come up, and you just never got into skiing, you never got into the mountains, so you just don't come up.
Yeah. My sister's Jennifer Friesen, Todd's daughter, and
Yeah.
and she was an Oakley rep for forever. So I think she did it for like, I don't even know. I won't quote her. I won't age her. But anyway, she was an Oakley rep for a long time.
Yeah.
And I used to drive the highway with her all the time. She had all of Western Canada. And I used to drive with her all the time. And I remember as a child, we used to come up at night all the time. And I remember the concrete or the asphalt or whatever was just crumbling away. And I remember there being cones everywhere, like to just signify like there's a cliff on the other side of the cones. Like don't go over the cliff. And I remember, but my sister was like, she's such a good driver. And because she did it all the time and drove all over Canada, I was never like scared, but I totally remember being like, wow, like the road is giving away right here.
Like I mean, you probably did it before I did, obviously, but even when I came here in 03, the highway was getting worked on, kind of not really. It was still like, I came up with a guy who lived here for a long time, this guy, John Brown, killer, really good dude. He was an instructor here for a long time. He used to run Whistler Adaptive.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Not run it, but he was like, anyways, part of it. Mm-hmm. But he drove me up here in like 03, and I remember just like, hit this old Bronco, and I remember the road was pretty fucked. Like, even you can see the old spots that are there now. But now you drive it, and now it's just, the danger is just full on speed and just people not paying attention because it seems like an easier drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole thing about not coming up here, not seeing things when you're just so close to it just seems strange. Like, you know, it's like I'm from Ontario and I've been to Tofino.
Right.
But people like from like Tawasin and haven't been to, you know, Victoria.
Yeah.
It's funny how you just forget or
Get out
just
of your
not think
bubble.
about it. Yeah.
Mhm. I know, but the first guy I dated in town here, which will go unnamed, was like from Ontario, and same thing. He had never been anywhere. He had never, other than Ontario.
Yeah.
Whistler was his first place he had ever been to.
Oh wow, right.
I mean, that shocked me. I grew up with my mom being a flight attendant,
Right.
and I was
wow.
like, so yeah, like as like a day trip, we'd go to Hawaii and just like I'd sit in the cockpit back before
Right.
like 9/11, and you know would just enjoy spending one day in Hawaii on the beach and then fly home the next day, and
Wow.
I just joined her. So
pretty
so
awesome.
it was awesome. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I make it sound like it was a weekend adventure every week, but it was, I mean, I probably did that maybe 4 or 5 times when I was a kid, but
Still.
I mean, so fun. And, but yeah, he seriously never left Ontario. And I was like, it's crazy how people just, I don't know if they're scared to travel or if it's just that they just didn't have that influence in their life or something. I don't know.
I think there's a few things. Probably scared to travel for sure, depending on how you do travel. But then people just get comfortable. And like, I think there aren't very many ideas like Ontario is a great place. You go up north and you go fishing and stuff, but there's no, if I wasn't a skier, I don't know why I would want to come to the mountains, right? I don't know what would drive me out here unless work or something like that. And because where I live, there's ski hills everywhere.
Okay.
Like I lived like half an hour from one. I used to race as a kid and stuff, and you could go all the time. So it just, you kind of thought about skiing and you aspire to it. So I guess if you're like, you know, it's probably like surfing somewhere. The surfs always suck, but you can surf, and you aspire to move to California. You aspire to move somewhere else. But I don't know. I think it is. I mean, plus you also had your mom was a flight attendant, so your idea of traveling was just a lot different.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like, and it's expensive to travel.
Yeah, that's true too,
But
for sure.
I remember going just traveling, and when I was a kid, traveling was kind of weird because you just go to like Disney World. And then you're like, what am I mean, I was a kid, but like, then you grow up and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to Mexico on my own with some friends. And it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Like you're blackout, lights out, whatever it is, right? But
Definitely.
Then, or someone gets
Things
married.
get a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah,
compared
right.
to Disneyland.
But there is probably a fear of travel for sure, I guess. But you don't have that, obviously. Where's the, you traveled out of the country a bunch, I'm sure, right?
I mean, to be honest with you, the majority of my life, I've definitely been a workaholic, but I have and I've also had Danny, like my dog Danny.
Right.
I just put him down in October of 2019, so it was just over. Yeah. So I miss him so much still, but so I always had him like from I right after I worked at Outdoor Adventures. I worked at WAG for I think like 2 or 3 years, and he came in one day when I was there, and then the rest is history. So,
travel.
Yeah,
not that much.
Oh yeah, basically like Central America, like Costa Rica, Nicaragua, those places. I haven't been to Europe yet though. Like I have yet to do that. I've been to Oz when I went to Bali. Yeah. There's a volcano erupting on Lombok. So
when was that? That wasn't long ago, was it? That was like a couple years ago.
It's been that volcano has been a lot more active lately. I've heard it happening multiple times, but mine was I went in 2014.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. So, but it was great though because I actually have like family in Sydney that I had never met, and like so I actually stayed with them for a couple days, and they're beautiful people. And then I hung out in Sydney for 6 days waiting for my flight, and I like fell in love with Australia, and I was just like I can't wait to go back and see more of it. I would like to do like a month there or something, but
it's a cool place. I'm sure I've never been there. It sounds awesome. Looks awesome.
Yeah I know.
I think man, Nicaragua's in trouble right now.
I know. So
sad.
It's unfortunate, and I know that it doesn't necessarily. I don't know. I'm really double-sided on it, but I don't watch the news because I can't. I can't physically like take it. Like I don't know if it's like I'm too empathetic
it's
or
stressful.
something, but like
it's fucked up.
My chest will tighten. I like get shortness of breath. I get really like nervous and stuff. So I can't watch the news, but I like I feel like what's most important will end up showing up on like Facebook and Instagram and things like that, and you'll hear about it through the grapevine and stuff. And but anyways, I just heard about Nicaragua the other day, and I kind of have a bit of a special place in my heart because my ex-boyfriend that I dated for a couple of years, his whole family had a place down there. It's a really beautiful like farm that they built by hand and everything. And so we spent a month there years and years ago. And I just feel, so it's all completely flooded and disaster.
I went there a couple of years ago with my buddy Jeff and a couple other friends, and I had my appendix out 4 days before I left.
Whoa.
Yeah, I booked my trip, and then I hit the floor and I'm like, my roommate's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know, man. I hit purchase.
Buy the ticket.
And it was 4 days from now, and I was like, I don't feel well. My roommate's sitting across the room. He's like, you okay, man? He's sitting in my studio across the room. He's like, you okay, Proctor? I'm like, I'm okay. He's like, I'm like, ooh, I got a cramp or something.
Yeah.
Within an hour, I was like on the floor. I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking dying. So he takes me to the hospital, and I go to Vancouver that night in an ambulance, and they took my appendix out. And then I was like, hey, I got a flight to Nicaragua in 4 days. They're like, you probably shouldn't go. And the nurse goes, you probably go.
Yeah,
so
I love it.
I'm like, yes.
So then,
but I went down there, and I want to go back because I spent the first 2 weeks just like kind of being a pain in the ass with some friends. I couldn't do much. I started surfing, and I was stoked. But where we were staying is in Popoyo got worked.
Oh yeah.
Worked, and so the only reason I saw it is because I follow the hostels we were staying at, and it was right. And they were like, one of the dudes, the dude that owns Cafe Con Leche. It's this really cool place in Popoyo.
Oh yeah. I think I went there. I think I saw it.
It's near Magrock.
Yeah.
So this guy who owns that, he's from Montreal, and he was like an airplane engineer or something like that. He designed some crazy design for some engineer and then sold it. And then he's like, boom, see you later.
Yep.
Moved to Nicaragua, but he's trying to help and look for donations and that kind of stuff. And
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's crazy, but
because the way I can remember Popoyo is like it's not necessarily like a peninsula, but it almost is like just everything is on that sort of waterfront right there, right?
And there's like a big river that runs through it. It floods quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
But there's I think it was 2 hurricanes in a row or something. It's fucking
Damn.
awful. But anyway, I think that kind of stuff is like the cool thing about travel is you get to appreciate where we are, and you get to fall in love with like the simple part of life, but you also realize how bad they can be destroyed so fast because the infrastructure is just like you're living on the water, you're not, and then just like we get it so easy up here with weather.
Yeah, I know. We're
like
pretty
moaning
mellow
because it doesn't snow more than a foot. People are like, here comes the worst storm in the decade.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's
Growing up in Tawasin, the people of Tawasin have been talking about the massive tsunami that's going to come take us out at some point. Though my whole life it's been like, it's going to be huge. And then they're like, but thank goodness for Victoria because Vancouver Island's going to like settle the blow. Like, you know, it's like they're going to take out the island first. And then we're going to get the residual waves that'll then come. And it's like anybody that's on Tawasin Beach is like just completely doomed. And they're all like $4 million places now down there. But yeah, I mean, you know, we're still waiting for it.
That must have been something in your life because I hear about like the San Andreas fault line, whatever it is. I guess it goes through. I mean, maybe I'm totally off here.
Right.
But, my geography is useless, but
so is mine. Yeah.
It was actually my best class in high school, and I'm horrible at geography. Yeah.
I didn't even took geography in high school. I don't even remember that being an elective.
Oh, it's different for us. I think.
I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty stoned all through high school.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I hear. I started smoking when I was 12. But I remember being on mushrooms in high school a few times.
Oh wow, I didn't go quite that far, but yeah.
But I hear I made it. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like the idea of like the fault lines and the earthquakes. Is like I never heard about it because in Ontario we're just like it's nothing going on. It's like humid and that's it.
Right.
But like I come here and hear about it a lot. I don't know. I mean, it's got to be. If Tawasin's saved from Victoria, everything from Victoria is going to float into Tawasin if it happens.
Yeah,
it's going to be like, yeah. But I guess, I wonder if that'll happen. I wonder when that'll go. I wonder, like...
Apparently it's very overdue, so I don't know. We'll see.
Because it's part of, like, I'm going to get this so wrong, probably.
The plates shifting?
Yeah, but isn't there there's the Pacific plates, but there's like... I'm not going to bring it up. Never mind.
I know. I'm like, I didn't think we were going to be talking about earthquakes when I walked in your door today.
We talk about anything. Have you been in an earthquake or any crazy storm, like in a tornado or somewhere? Like been?
No, I haven't. I think the last time I went traveling, though, I met some guys that were living in some, like, I think it was like the Cayman Islands or something like crazy beautiful place. Yeah. And they had just finished being through a gnarly like hurricane, and it was just, they told us the stories. It seemed really crazy, but no, I haven't been. I haven't, just, you know, our normal stuff around here, I think.
West Coast doesn't get much. You guys get heavy rain. That's about it.
Yeah.
Or I guess.
Yeah.
I remember my hometown, Ontario. I was in 2 tornadoes.
Oh wow!
One was in Barrie in 1984. I was 6. It was like a really famous tornado that hit Ontario.
I've been to Barrie, Ontario.
Yeah, really?
I have,
nice. Yeah. So I grew up there, just outside of there. But that's kind of
okay.
But my brother used to be a professional, like a competitive swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
For the Trojans, and
oh wow!
Tornado hit Barrie. My mom and I were going to pick him up from swimming practice, and he was staying at his friend's house after practice. Tornado ripped through town and mowed down every house except in this area, except for the house he was in.
No way.
Yeah, it was like you'd drive through. There was like you couldn't really drive the whole way because there was like power lines over and stuff and homes. It was like
totally.
You drive by and just see like staircases and like and chimneys, and that was it mowed down. And then one time, so my brother was fine.
Okay, good.
And then the one time we were my parents had a boat when I was younger, and we were out moored onto this, like on the side of the island in Georgian Bay. Mm-hmm. There's these, it's not even funny. It's super funny. It's not funny at all. So there's this huge boat beside us. Like we have an all right boat. We're all sleeping on it and stuff. And so there's a boat beside us. These guys are just raging. And I'm like,
partying.
I'm probably 10 or 11 now. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. And
okay, so you're on your boat?
Yeah, we're on our boat.
Okay.
Like we're in a dock. There's maybe 6 other boats, and it's an island, so you go there and you camp and stuff. But we sleep on our boat.
Cool.
And there was a boat beside us that was bigger than ours, and it's like these guys just raging, right? They had like all their tarp stuff and stuff, and they're just like fucking partying. Anyway,
love it. And you're like, I want to be over on their boat.
The party, I didn't even know what I was like. I was young, right? So I didn't even know what partying really was. I mean, probably would have done it, but but yeah. So tornado comes, it starts to pick up storm. We hear on the radio, it's like, you check the weather forecast and stuff from the Coast Guard's like, hey, weather warning and small craft warning and stuff. And so we're parked there. So the tornado comes through and it's fucking screaming, right? So like,
what is there different levels of tornadoes? Like like is this like?
Well, there's just levels of power.
Yeah.
But like the Great Lake ones are crazy because there's so much cold.
Like, are they picking up boats? I mean, obviously some tornadoes probably could.
Yeah,
but like.
Yeah. Let me
okay. Okay. Sorry.
This one's not crazy big, but I guess in the Great Lakes, there's lots of like thermals, and I mean, you get lake effect snows a lot of times in Ontario or other parts of that whole area. The lakes are big enough that they change temperature as much like faster than the oceans do. So a cold lake.
Right.
Can create snow or hot air or whatever it is. A hot, warm lake creates snow. It creates wind patterns and everything else. But so we get this tornado, and these dudes are just raging, right? And they're wasted. They can't. Tornado hits at like maybe 9 o'clock at night, and they can't like collectively. It's dangerous. It's not funny. It's funny because it's fine, but they can't get their shit together because they're just like smashed. There's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
And so we're in our boat. We got all the tarps up. We're like holding on. Zippers are like busting. And I'm like crying.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God. My mom's like, get in the fucking, I don't know, screaming at the boat. So our dinghy boat gets ripped off and sucked out. Like gets ripped away.
Oh my God.
We had like a little dinghy boat in the back. And then it's going and going. It's crazy. And like everyone's kind of freaking out. It's like, and our boat's rocking. So anyway, it passes fairly quickly, but it does some damage.
Wow.
Then we get out. I look out. The other guy's boat, all their tarps, they had them all like wrapped up. They wrapped them up like in the. They're gone. They're floating in the water. Like their fucking boat's mangled. Our dinghy swung out and got jammed between their boat and the dock. So now it's just mashed. Like it was like a fiberglass like little 4-person boat. It was mashed. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with the story, but these dudes are now like trying to get their boat parts out of the water, and they're still like they're just hung over and like they just went through a fucking tornado. So like everyone else is like, everyone else.
Real buzzkill.
Yeah, they're all going to their boats like, what just happened, right? It's like, so we like that's like we wake up in the morning and those things just whip up. I don't know.
Wow, I would be so like if I was that young, especially that must have been like traumatizing.
Oh yeah, like you don't
like
because you're in a boat and it's rocking.
How could you sleep after that? You'd be like, you'd just think it was gonna come back around again at you or something. That would be so crazy.
It's weird to see. It was fine. It was scary, but
do you remember the movie Twister when we were a kid? Like, come on,
the
like
sickest
that.
Ford truck in that book. In the movie.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I do remember that actually. Yeah,
but
I'm a truck girl. Though that movie scared the shit out of me.
Really?
I found it to be I think tornadoes are very scary. That freaks me out.
Well, they are. I mean, like they're pretty fucked up, but like because they're kind of weird and selective. I don't know. I mean, it's always just like hot air and cold air coming together and they pass. But I mean, out west, like there's the odd thunderstorm, the odd lightning storm, but I think we were talking about Mexico earlier.
Yeah.
I've been there once, and the storm that I saw, like those like South American storms when you see them off the coast, it's so sick because you don't get storms like that in BC.
Yeah.
We get them off the coast, but then Ontario gets crazy lightning and thunder. But you don't get that out here, so you kind of like storm depraved, I guess. Is that the right word?
And I mean when we get thunder or lightning and stuff, it's usually like in that springtime, kind of early summer or whatever, and it's just not it's nothing too hectic. But nowadays it's just like the culprit of starting fires.
Now
which
it's like
is devastating, but
it's like super warm. All of a sudden it'll be like there's lightning, there's an electric storm coming. 2 minutes of rain, 8 lightning strikes, and boom, you got like forest fires.
Totally.
It's fucking nuts.
Like an entire village is being vacated
Did you ever live in Pemberton?
No, I haven't ever lived in Pemby, but
there was like
real estate up there.
There was that fire in Pemby. I remember seeing like photos of it right by the road. By the meadows and stuff, but
just this last year.
Yeah.
Wasn't there was that one by the meadows.
Yep,
for sure. Remember it was like coming down the mountain. Even when you drive out the Pemby Meadows Road, you can still see it's all singed. But then there was this last one this year in Lillooet, right?
I don't
across the water.
I knew, but I don't know if I saw it.
Yeah.
But storms. Our world is fucked up.
We're doomed. Yeah.
Yeah, but imagine being by a volcano.
I'm glad we've all been through a pandemic now, though. That's great.
We're not even through it yet. I think we got. I mean,
we have endured it though.
It's crazy. Like trying not to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like
it's just like real estate. Everybody talks about it every single day, all day long.
Yeah, right. Real estate. I got to learn more about real estate for sure.
I should teach you.
Yeah, I have a little place in the island, and I learned a bit about that.
We chatted about that like a long time ago. Remember? Is it a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom?
That's a little 2-bedroom. Like
2-bedroom. Yeah.
It's like right by the homeless shelter there.
Yeah.
Something's fuzzing. I think maybe it's your phone. Is your phone? Are you getting a text right now?
Oh, are you kidding me? This thing doesn't stop.
Boom. I'm like, why am I getting these fuzzy noises? I thought it was me.
It doesn't. This thing never stops.
All right, cool.
Sorry.
So it just
Does it help if I
don't keep it on the counter?
Okay, fine. Sorry. Should have told me that in the beginning.
I didn't know it was your phone. I was trying to figure out. I don't know anything about audio. I'm like, I just kind of wing it every time. So I'm like, what's that fucking noise? I turned my phone off. Anyway, I'm glad I figured that out.
Sorry, I'm just blowing up over here. No big deal.
It's all good. Yeah, nobody texted me. We're all good. Yeah. So we talked about a bunch of random things, but I'm curious. Dirt biking and stuff like that.
Wet Panties is the name of my dirt bike.
Ah, okay. Right. Is it really? Yeah. Yeah. You gotta. Is it?
There's a long. It's back to my ATVing days,
Right. Is
where
it?
it's an inside joke because
okay.
I used to even I was saying like if you start in the morning and you
Right.
work all day.
Right.
Well, I mean you'd work even through like the craziest rainstorms and
Right.
stuff. Like I mean it's just raining all day long, and we had like the Helly Hansen gear, the this gear, the all the
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, and
Yeah.
and you know what? Like you stand up and you like ride standing up, but you're doing like 4 or 5 tours a day.
Yeah.
And so eventually you just sit down, and I was just like, it was this thing I used to always be like, I'm so sick and tired of having wet panties all day long. All day long, I'm friggin' soaked constantly. I just hated it. So, but anyways, and then my friends I all worked with, they would make fun of me all the time, and they used to call me wet panties. So I was like, and then I got my dirt bike like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And first like week out on it, it was just pouring rain the whole week, and I was like so stoked to have my KTM that I was just like, no matter what, I'm going out.
Yeah.
And so I just called her wet panties because it just reminded me of that.
I mean, it's better than dry panties, probably, right? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's better than that. Sorry, I don't know if that means anything, but yeah, it sounds like. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's always more fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny. Funny nicknames are funny, eh? Because you can't make up your own nickname, and if you do, everyone's like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
But if you get one, sometimes you get a nickname like, "I don't want that nickname," and then it's
Right.
like you have no choice. That's your nickname now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go with it, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
I would hate to have like if your last name was something shitty and you just got worked your whole life,
Yeah,
or it rhymes with something dumb and you have to deal with it your whole life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would be.
I think it's funny when people have like when someone's like named their kid Rob and they have like kid's name is Bob and he's like 4.
Yeah.
You can't like there's a name they're like for adults and names that are for kids.
Yeah. They sound way older than they actually are through their
Yeah.
name.
Like there's names like if your name was Thurman or something like that, like those names don't exist anymore, right? Like it's funny that like I don't know anybody like nobody names a kid.
I'm so bad. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I
like
totally.
Gertrude or like Meredith. I mean,
Yeah.
Meredith's sorry. I know some Merediths. I apologize. Shit. I have to cut this out.
I know. I'm also in my head being like, please don't name off any of your friends that you have.
Yeah. Yeah. And even like, I'm not a big fan of my name, but like, have you ever looked up what your name means? Like, have you looked up?
No, well, yeah, like how sometimes you get those little like cards that are like on like keychains and stuff like that or whatever.
Right.
I definitely have seen I don't know Madison though. For the longest time when I was a kid, all those things were like Sarah would be everywhere and stuff. Madison wasn't a name that like, was on keychains and name tags and stuff until I was probably about 13. And then Madison started popping up way more.
Oh, Madison means daughter of Maud and strength in battle.
Whoa.
From Germanic Mott, strength,
That sounds
might,
strong.
plus hild equals battle. There you go.
Wait, what was the last part again?
It says Madison means daughter of Maud, which I guess Maud's the name, obviously. It sounds French.
Interesting.
Strength in battle. So he kicks some ass.
Yeah.
Germanic Mott, M-A-H-A-T. I don't know what that means. And then strength / might plus hild. H-I-L-D, I don't know what that means. But like Hilda, that was probably a name. That used to be a name.
Hilda.
Right.
Yep,
Imagine your name was
definitely a
Hilda.
name.
Imagine your name was Hilda. That'd be crazy. No,
Hildy.
Hildy. Yeah, right?
Hey, Hildy.
Nobody names their stuff anymore. So funny, but yeah,
That's funny.
my name means Little King.
I was just going to say, what is your name? Little King?
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I
Huh.
think. Yeah, and then Proctor is like, if you take a test, and if you're like in university, you're taking a test. There's somebody in the room as a proctor, and they're the ones who oversee.
yeah.
Like if you're taking your real estate test and your instructor's not there,
Mm-hmm.
they just have someone who's willing to oversee the class and be like, hey, don't cheat, whatever.
And that person's called a proctor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And back in
I do know that name was it meant something or was something. Yeah.
because now there's like, back in the day, your name your last name was pretty much what you did.
Okay.
So like if you're like a blacksmith or black or smith, whatever else was your blacksmith, that was your last name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like medieval times before like
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, before dark. What's that one? I had a good joke. I just ruined it. But
Oh.
yeah. Anyway, I think have you ever done like that 23andMe thing where you like check your?
No, but I have always wanted to because my family history is like I think in general just pretty lame.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think
I don't know mine either. I think it's lame too.
I literally just think I know majority of my mom's family and stuff is all from Saskatchewan, Saskatoon,
Right.
whatever the prairies.
Yeah.
And then my dad's family is just for the longest time like been in in like BC and
Right.
just like in Tsawwassen and Richmond and stuff. But I don't know anything about like our extended history and family. And my sisters have told me that somewhere down the line we have like some Italian gypsy in us, which just sounds super cool. But like,
Yeah,
who knows
probably.
if that's just a random fact or lie or whatever.
Story.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I really want to do it because I want to see if there's something cool in there or like what the bloodlines really are.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool too. I have asked my mom. She's like, well, your grandmother's from Quebec, and we found a relative on the East Coast in Newfoundland, and I was like, well, that's probably Irish, Scottish. But then I was like, I heard some, I don't know if you're a conspiracy theorist person, but I entertain some of them just because I think it's funny, but not the crazy ones. But
I never get into it, but I definitely know people get passionate about it. That's for
sure. I don't get passionate about any of them. I'm just like, but the one I'm curious about is if you, somebody mentioned about, if we go and get our DNA tested to see where we're from.
Yeah.
And then these companies become not private anymore, and the government gets control of them. They're like, now everybody's DNA, knows where you're from, everything else.
Oh, of course they would think that.
I think
yeah.
the draw. I think they would find out because like I have half a family from Quebec, but I don't think we're French. Like Proctor's not. I don't know if it's a French word.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm
I
always
think I just have some English. Like there's English background in there and stuff, and then. Yeah, no clue, but it would be fun to know.
It'd be cool to go
There's
on
definitely infidelity along the way. You don't really know where you're where you're really coming from.
I think all the things that we think are taboo now are probably just things that happened. Someone would say they were taboo back in the day. Like infidelity is probably. I mean, it's huge. It was probably bigger than it is now.
Yeah,
back in the day.
and then now it's just widely talked about, whereas back then it was just never talked about. Right? Like wives, even if they knew, they never said anything, right? Because you didn't want to rock the boat. Nowadays, everybody rocks the boat.
Oh yeah, the boat's empty. Everyone's off it. It's crazy.
The boat has been.
Yeah, my parents got divorced when
tornado.
I was like 15, so I was kind of aware. I guess I was 2. You wouldn't obviously been memories of your parents being together, but when I was 15, so I never looked into I looked into my dad's side, and there's definitely a lot of Scottish and stuff there.
Oh, cool, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I always think that if you can do a good accent, it's probably got some heritage in there.
Okay.
Like if you can imitate a good accent somewhere.
That's a cool thought. I like that.
I figure. I don't know. It seems
apparently I'm just Canadian then because I suck at accents.
Well, it
so
could just be how far removed you are. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But do you speaking of conspiracies or anything? Do you believe in aliens? Yeah.
That's actually an interesting question.
Or just like the word alien, like just like do you believe like there's something else flying around?
Extraterrestrial
life
out there. I mean, I think it's definitely like possible. Yeah. I think what's crazy is to think that we're the only planet that has like something living on it, whereas that we just don't have enough like knowledge yet of anything else out there. But I mean, do I think that aliens would come to this planet and stuff? Like, I don't really know, but
I mean, yeah,
my brain is. I've never taken my brain there.
Oh yeah, I think about it once in a while. I think about like if we exist, what's the chance of something else existing?
Right.
And then I'm like, this all parallel universe kind of stuff. I'm like, I read this thing about deja vus. I mean, it's pretty common.
Oh, I had the hugest deja vu last night with girlfriends, and I hadn't like in my bubble. I was just with my bubble last night.
40 people?
No, it was 2. It was 2, 3 girlfriends in total. And I hadn't had one, and I have absolutely no idea when the last time I had a deja vu was. But I like last night I was like, and it happened. You know what? It lasted for like at least 30 to 60 seconds.
That's pretty long. Yeah.
Like, I've been here before. This has happened before.
It's freaky.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, because it must come to you in a dream or something, right? Like, I do strongly believe that I think if you have that, it means like you're in the right place at the right time or like, because you obviously had some sort of premonition that has happened before, you know, like.
It seems to me like people call it, when it's a positive thing, they call it a deja vu. When it's a negative thing, they call it they had a vision. I feel like there's like, they name different things, right? But.
Oh, interesting.
I read on this. I follow this thing on Instagram called Theories of Everything or something like that, and they put up a bunch of bullshit. But they said today they were like, a theory is like, it's all bull. But they said that a theory is like when you have a deja vu, it's another realm or like a different dimension that's happening simultaneously with you that crosses over.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's true or not.
That's a bit too far-fetched for me to think about. Yeah.
I'm not saying I believe it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying...
It's like so like that exact same scenario is happening
within
another planet or something or like another...
There's theories that... I watch a lot of Joe Rogan and stuff, so he's got the people on there talking about like theorists and stuff. And
okay.
They're saying that the idea that we are in a simulation is probably more... the chances of it are... What they say? The probability of it being a simulation is more probable than it not being one that we're in right now.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think about these things a lot. I just think when I hear about them, I'm like, I would never say that's not real at all. But weird shit happens when day to day, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
you're like, wait a second, did that just like when you're just like when you think you saw something, or just like deja vu, something like that happens, and
Yeah.
it's what's our brain is like, I don't know, it's probably just working overtime.
Oh man.
Because do you meditate or anything like that?
I try.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's tough.
I definitely try to. I get really, again, like going back to like being a workaholic and just how stressful this job is.
Right.
I think about the fact, like I deal with like a bunch of anxiety and stuff, obviously, but I just constantly just kind of keep pushing through.
Right.
And I'm always in my head, I'm like, you should stop and you should meditate for like 5 minutes and like
Right.
calm your heart rate down and just like chill, you know, because I get like cold sweats and like I'm
Right.
just like on fight or flight mode pretty much all day long, every single day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really do try. I think it's meditating can be hard for everybody, but
I want to watch TV when I meditate.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what am I going to do? It's tough,
Yeah.
right?
I normally will watch, like, I have a couple apps and stuff or whatever that I usually go on and try to, I need to be coached like through
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'll just totally be like thinking about work while I'm just sitting in a cross-legged
Yeah.
position. But
Yeah.
I mean, I try. I just picked up more like Wim Hof breathing and stuff. So
cool.
I've kind of been like in lieu of meditating, I've been trying to like focus on breath. And
Right.
my girlfriend Shannon Frame is she does breath work now. She's a breath work facilitator, and it's really
Oh, cool.
rad. And she's kind of
Right.
opened my eyes to that life. And I think once you start opening yourself to breathing, you start to notice it way more around you, obviously, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty incredible. Like a lot of people that I know, especially in Whistler, like they really find breath super powerful. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that.
Because you can like hallucinate stuff with breath work, apparently. It's
Yeah,
just-
it's
heard,
incredible when you
breathing
get
circles and stuff.
The oxygen
Right.
in your body like that.
Yeah. I saw I saw a bit of his. Me and Adma talked about it too a couple days ago. This like
Yeah,
how you-
like as if I'm on your podcast after like you have people like Mark Adma.
well, he's the pinnacle of my podcast right now.
Oh,
but yeah,
nice.
yeah, no, I've
Well,
known
I'm
Mark
so
for
happy
a
to
long
be
time.
a
Yeah,
part of this.
I'm starting to hear it's cool. I think I've seen a lot of podcasts and I watch a lot of them, but mine are like I watch a lot of like goofy stuff and comedy stuff and everything else, and so
Yeah.
like I just think unless I know, like I've had like nutritionists on and experts, or I've had a couple experts on, but like I don't know, I can't keep a train of thought directly long enough to have a conversation with somebody about the same thing for like an hour.
Yeah.
Like we've been talking about random things because I literally can't focus on stuff for long enough to have like so it's got to be this or it
know.
won't make sense.
Well, and it's cool because I think sometimes your conversations can go into super incredible like areas and stuff, and it's not planned, so that's super
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you might have like one where it's just the opposite or something. You never.
Yeah,
You never really know what you're gonna get when you keep it casual.
Yeah, well, I can tell, like, I didn't, like, Mark and I talked about, like, that's why I asked him meditation, because we talked about it a bunch on the last podcast.
Oh, yeah, cool.
He's been doing it for like 20 years.
Wow.
I was like, I figured he was probably an animal when he was a kid, but not a kid, but, he's 20, but, yeah, so I just feel like I've tried meditation once in a while. I just can't. I think the app's probably good, but, so
Did he give you any meditation techniques?
yeah, he told me about this. I forget, but he uses like a band that gives like his radio waves.
Oh,
and
cool.
it connects to his phone. So he connects it and then puts his phone down, and then it gives you sounds and like stuff to focus on.
Oh, okay.
And so
Yeah.
it's guided essentially, but it checks your brain waves and it knows, it sees if your brain's moving fast or slow or whatever. And it's like, hey, like if it's hard to. I don't know if
It can adjust it, right? Like
Yeah.
it adjusts your So I like pretty much do everything under the sun, like in terms of like self-care.
right.
Because I just feel like I physically have to in order to live long.
Right, yeah.
But I've been doing, like, I always see Don Valley for like acupuncture, and I see
Right.
like Chanel Smythe basically the Whistler Clinic is like the place to be right now.
Yeah,
It's
for
like
sure.
awesome there. So, but my other girlfriend Crystal that's there, she does this neurofeedback work now.
Right.
So yeah, I've been going to that, and it's crazy
Cool.
because people are like, yeah, do you think it does anything? Like, how do you know? Like, is it just kind of whatever? I mean, when I put that thing on, and like when I go there for half an hour and I put the thing on, then you're like, she just has this really rad screen that can kind of totally zone you out, and
Yeah.
you just watch these like rad like shapes and stuff moving and whatever. I mean, when I leave there, I can feel my brain feels a little bit fatigued, which is
Right.
really cool because I feel like that means it's doing something to your brain.
You're
If
working
I'm
it out.
like if I'm leaving and my brain feels like it's different than when I walked in, I'm like,
Right.
it did something. So, and
That's
I've heard
cool.
really great feedback about it. So,
Really, hey?
yeah.
I check it out because I'm always curious. Like you've seen like adrenaline, so you're like dirt biking and stuff. So other than like trying to be calm, how do you get like you just to get it out, to go and like smash the throttle. You like, what do they call it, throttle therapy or something? Or is that what it is? I don't know. I don't want to say something dumb. I don't want to sound like a cliche.
I mean, yeah,
dirt bike.
it totally. So for me, I love sports that allow me to be off of my phone.
Sure.
So snowboarding isn't even enough for me because you
Nah.
get it on a chairlift, and then the first thing I do is usually like whip out the phone and be like, "Hey, where are you at? What chairlift are you?" You're on your phone, you know.
Yeah.
Dirt biking and like mountain biking are like two sports that are just like I don't even look at my phone. And I mean, I have some pretty awesome people like Cups and
Right.
Dantas and Tyler. I love to be out with those guys. And I mean, it's just rad. We go explore places and check out new zones and stuff, and it's just a really good time. And
Right.
and I like sports that I can get better at too. So like, I mean, I grew up on ATVs, but with dirt biking, it's like I bought like a 350. So
Oh, really? Nice.
yeah, I
Sick.
definitely need to learn a bit more about how to like throw it around. But
Right.
I mean, it's just so much fun. Like,
I don't know. I've thought about dirt biking a bunch. I don't think I'm into it. I think it's cool, but I'm just like, I don't know if I could be a dirt bike guy. Just 'cause I don't know. Like, I just sled for a while and it's really fun, but it's so, like, I guess it's difficult to get good at it, and I get frustrated fast.
trust me,
Right.
everybody gets frustrated
Yeah.
dirt biking.
I can't.
It's-
It sounds pretty fun. It'd be cool because like we have a 350.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
You should try it. I feel like
yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I think what's got me confused, not confused, but like one thing is like on a sled you just gas it and you go.
Uh-huh.
On a dirt bike you're like.
You just twist.
I know, but when you're trying to change gears and stuff, anyway, I'm gonna get made fun of for this, but
Are you an automatic driver?
No, I drive standard cars for sure. Yeah.
Well, then what's that? There's nothing different.
It
You'd
just
be
seems
fine.
like
You just listen to the revs and
Right.
yeah, you're good.
I'll check it out someday.
Oh, yeah, you will for sure.
You get dirt bike.
Maybe I'll even let you borrow wet panties
All right. Yeah. Sweet. Sure.
after you've first experienced on somebody else's bike.
Yeah, like I was talking the other day. I was talking about taking the motorcycle test, just like down there for like 3 or 4 days, whatever it is. But it's not cheap, and I think they stopped doing it for a while because the whole
Yeah,
thing.
because you can't do the COVID in person stuff. Yeah,
Right.
that was kind of, I think it was difficult
Right.
because you had to like go into the shop. I think they're doing it. I don't know if, well, now we're kind of in our second wave of lockdown or whatever, but I don't know if they're
Yeah.
doing it again, but it was back up and running.
Oh, okay.
But
I'll check
anyways,
it
I
out.
mean, it's something good I think to have under your belt. But I also like, I got my first motorcycle in 2013, I think.
Okay, right.
So I had like a Yamaha Virago. And I thought
really?
it was cool because it looked
Sick.
like a Harley, but it wasn't.
It's super weird 'cause the handlebars are close and up front.
Yeah.
But did you? So you had a road bike first?
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I didn't like, I did a motorcycle exam, course. I paid, I think it was like $800 or something I paid
Yeah.
for it to like teach me about like all the smart things to be doing. And at that course, the most beneficial thing of it was that they had all these different bikes you could try.
Right,
So
okay.
I always thought the crotch rockets were just like so lame because that's how I grew up being taught that they were lame.
Yeah.
And then I realized once I got on one, I was like, holy smokes, this
Yeah,
is fun.
I
Like,
bet it
but
is.
so dangerous. Like I'm like a need for speed kind of person. And I'm like, I'd probably kill myself on something like that.
Yeah.
And then I also tried a dirt bike there too. Like they had like dual sport bikes. And so I got on the dirt bike and I was like, wow, this is way more comfortable than like I thought it would be.
Right.
But I mean, not for like long distances, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
Dirt biking is fun.
It looks like pretty fun. I just see the guys at the track. Looks like a good time. The dirt
Yeah,
track.
and you know what's so funny? I mean, my buddies have been trying to get me to go to the track for a
Yeah.
couple years now, but for some reason that just doesn't.
It seems
I've
like-
had some friends have some serious bad crashes being out there because it's like your adrenaline gets going and you're being competitive.
Right.
Whereas for me, I'm competitive in my everyday life. I just
Right.
want to go out and get to the top of a mountain and drink a beer, you know, like
Yeah.
actually it's a nude because I
That's-
don't drink beer, but
Oh,
yeah.
right. Yeah. Nude. Those are actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I
they go down easy.
Yeah, I think dirt bikes are rad. I think it'd be cool to just be able to get up, the access to get up, especially around here.
Yeah.
Fire roads,
I
stuff
mean,
like that.
yeah, like, I mean, Squamish has like incredible like zones to go to, but also, I mean, around here, like for me, it's like I'll work all day and then I'll pretty much end up doing like, you know, an hour or two, but pretty much 2 hours at the end of the day in the summer times, especially when we have the light out that much. And
Yeah,
then
that's sweet.
it's just, you know, Sprout. There's lots of trails out in Sprout. There's cabins we can get up to. I mean, if you just need a quick rip, like the Sioux is great for that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And then there's Pemby, and you got some more single track and stuff in Pemby too. But I mean, Squamish is, I think, really the mecca of
It seems like
dirt biking.
Yeah, it seems like Squamish has everything.
Squamish does have everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it really I find it to be very appealing. Like as a realtor that does the whole sea to sky, like I constantly sell all of my friends into
Right.
all of the zones, and Squamish is so appealing. And like I want to buy like a townhouse down there with like
Right.
a double car garage, and you know, for like maybe like 700, 800 grand.
Right.
because that can get you a 1-bedroom condo in Whistler.
It's crazy, hey?
But I just can't give up the Whistler lifestyle though.
I hear you. I've been
Like
thinking about
it's hard. Like
stuff.
I don't, even though I want that double car garage and the lifestyle so bad, it's that I just don't think I can like give up waking up at like 7 a.m. and being on the hill within like a heartbeat and having a couple runs and coming off the hill and getting to your office. Like,
yeah, it's tough. Like this is the year I was talking about this the other day, and just like, this is where, because I'm going to probably have a lot of time off this winter, which I'm stoked on.
yeah.
I'm going to try and ski as much as I can. Just see, I'm trying to see if I still have the stoke for skiing. If I'm going to get up every day and go, especially with all the barriers now of like, not barriers, but like having to reserve and stuff. Like,
Trust me.
I want to go tomorrow because it's the snow, and I didn't
gnarly.
reserve, and now I'm like, I can't go. And
You can. You just have to sit here and
I've been
refresh
refreshing
for
I'm kind of like
hours.
This podcast has got me torn away from my refreshing, but like,
Okay, good.
yeah, I just think
I just gave up my Monday spot like right before I got here. I should have called you first.
damn it, yeah. But I feel like as a single person, whatever else, like in Squamish, a bit different. But like if you're living in Whistler, everything's so easy to do, so close by. And I feel like if I had to drive somewhere, and Squamish is awesome. I got family who lives down there, but like you're always got to drive somewhere if you want to go skiing. And the barrier's different. And then now it's probably okay because the highway's not so busy. But
summer life, I think, is when
killer.
Squamish comes to life, right?
Like
Like
dirt biking too, for sure.
and the dew life.
Yeah.
The dew life.
The dew life. What do you mean?
Sea doing.
Oh,
Everybody's sea doing.
I know. I see like
No Limits has got their niche is down pat.
Yeah, it's sick. I saw there's this is actually pretty stupid, but I saw this thing you can dock your Sea-Doo into, and it makes it like a little 3 or 4 seater boat. So you drive it's like the front of a boat. It's
Okay.
Like a U shape. I think it's probably stupid. I don't know. I've just saw it on Facebook.
So it's like if you want to go with the fam and not
think-
go out by yourself, you just like put into, and then it's got like a couple extra seats, and
Yeah.
it's probably just like
the Sea-Doo
aerodynamic.
the Sea-Doo
or whatever.
becomes the engine and everything for it, right?
Yeah.
And then you still have to sit there and drive. But I think it's like, I don't know how it works.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, I'm
Someone's
gonna
gonna
have to
tell me.
look it
I'm
up.
like, yeah, and if you're like, this is stupid, Proctor, but
No, I'm like seriously I have so many friends that have it, and they just are like and trust me, like I mean, I spent a bunch of time boating this last year too, and I just want a boat so bad.
It's super cool.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm like maybe I should start with a Sea-Doo
Well,
first.
if you get the expedition ones, like my buddy Andrew Campbell, he went like up the coast like 1,000 kilometers with a couple of buddies forever.
Yeah.
Just a full tour, and he's got they're like 20 grand for like the pimped out ones.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
I guess like I say with the snowmobile and stuff now, but
Yeah.
the Sea-Doo thing looks pretty rad. Yeah, just get a jet ski. Fucking stupid things. Yeah,
They look rad though.
Yeah, they are pretty cool. Well, yeah, I don't.
cool.
Are you going to ski? You're not going skiing tomorrow. You gave it up, eh?
I gave it up. Yeah. I'm kind of sad about it, but I just have offers on the go, and I have just too much
Right.
going on. And I rode over the weekend, and I
Cool.
just need to lock down.
Get back to
It
work.
gets really stressful when when I let like emails build up too much, and then I mean it's fun and it's nice to go out and go in the mornings and stuff. But I mean I just think for tomorrow I just don't have the time.
Yeah, you're kind of working for yourself as a realtor, right? Like you're kind of like on your you do have like obviously you work for Whistler Real Estate or Remax or whatever it is or something, but like
Remax, yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I'm just saying like
Yeah. A brokerage.
Yeah, but you still work for you're still working for yourself, right?
Yeah. Like I'm definitely a sole proprietor. I'm my own boss and everything for
Right.
sure. But
Yeah.
I pay Remax to be
Right.
a part of them. Like I use their name and their umbrella to market and.
Because if you want to have your own license, it'd be probably astronomical fees to keep it going, right?
Well, I pay for all my own licensing fees every
Oh, okay,
year,
right.
and again all that jazz for sure.
Right.
Which isn't cheap as well. Like it's not cheap to be in this business. That's
No.
for darn sure. But I mean, if I got my broker license and became my own broker, then I could have actually my own brokerage.
Oh, okay. Right.
But there's lots of politics behind that and stuff, and it's
Fair.
just like it's just not what I want to do. And
Right. You don't do. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty straightforward to me.
yeah,
Cool. Well, I don't know. It's been like an hour and a half.
Holy smokes!
That
An
goes
hour
by
and a
pretty
half?
fast, right? I think so.
I feel like I could sit here and talk to you forever.
Yeah. Well, we
This
can
has
keep
been really
going.
fun.
I've nothing going on.
No, I'm like I probably should
Yeah.
go.
One thing I have noticed though is like I'm starting my own business now too, and I've had I've had lots of job stuff, but I feel like the idea of working for yourself, and a realtor or not, but you are just like, hey, when someone calls you, that's your time to work. You know, it's like when they're not calling you, you're kind of like trying to be prepared for when they do call you.
Yep.
But then when they call you, like, you got to be like on it. And they could call you like, you know what? It's my wife and I have been sitting here, my husband and I have been sitting here talking about, and now it's 11 at night. We're going to make an offer. You're like, okay, fine. You're like, and then you're like, I want to go skiing tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of stuff happens, but you have to make that choice because at some point.
Oh, and you know what? I think as you get more and more into the career, like you start creating more boundaries because you just feel like you just can't, like you can't do what I'm physically doing right now for the rest of your life. Although like I feel like probably Maggie Thornhill has lived that life and that's where she is today.
Yeah.
But like it just like you will completely burn down and burn out. And it's just, but anyways, I mean, I am that person that if I get asked at 11 o'clock at night to like write an offer, you have to do it. Like you just got to do it. And it's about helping your client, and real estate is, again, there's so much emotions wrapped up to it that you just you have to act really quickly. And it'll be the same for you with your business. Like if you can't not answer the phone, right? Like, cause that's going to be a potential new client that wants to hire you. And it's just what you got to do for the first while.
It is funny growing up and having to be part of like, you know, but you just have to make it happen. I have friends who are like, I sometimes I wish like, I could just get a job that's like, you know, 9 to 5 and get paid by the hour and you're there and you come home and you don't have to think about it. But I tried that a few times. I just think like sometimes the uncertainty or like the chaos of it all is what you look for. Yeah. Because I just get bored if it wasn't chaotic and just like, you know, scrambling.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, for sure. And every day is different when you own your own business, I think too. Like, I mean, every day you're going to deal with a different circumstance or a different, you know, experience for sure.
Probably some weird people trying to buy homes, I bet. Probably some funny people out there.
There's all kinds. That is for sure.
Well, thanks for talking about real estate with me. Yeah. That was really good. No, it's cool. You can come on the show anytime you want to, for sure. I think, it's good. It was good just to get people who are stoked to come on it and chat. Yeah. I find I ask people and I'm like, hey, do you want to come on? And I'm like, I kind of feel like, should I ask them again? Because I feel like I'm bugging them.
Yeah. I liked your post the other day. You were like, who wants to come on? I was like, I mean, I'd do it. I
think it's fun because I just like to talk to people I know and friends and people. Everyone's got something to talk about. Yeah. Hopefully I can just drag stuff out of you, but like, I'll just ask people about aliens if I need to.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
I love it. See how people react.
Yeah, I don't know. You can talk if you want people to follow you or something on Instagram. Do you care about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Maddie Nopes is one of my nicknames, like we were talking about before. Right. So it's MADYNOPES. Yeah. And right now that's just like my personal and real estate handle. So that, and then my website is just madisonperry.com.
Cool, sweet. Yeah. If you want to buy a house or anything, buy a piece of property.
Yeah. I mean, Sea to Sky Corridor. If you want any information or just have questions or whatever, I'm always happy to help. So.
Sweet. Cool. Well, thanks for chatting.